Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here as we get ready to cap off what's been a very interesting race weekend here at the Great American Speedway, Texas Motor Speedway. Getting set here tonight for our 7th race of the season, and this race is leading up to what I'm hoping is going to be one of the most exciting races of the season next week, the Mud Summer Classic at Eldora. But these drivers here tonight, for the second time in 3 weeks, are getting ready to go racing at a D-shaped mile-and-a-half racetrack. We were, of course, at Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, and you got to wonder if the drivers that did well there, if this is a track that they were kind of like, we did well there, we've got a shot at maybe winning at this track here tonight. But we're going to have to wait and see. There's a little bit more on the line here this evening for these drivers as opposed to the 2 races we had last night. More laps have been added onto the scoring chart. And, of course, as well, we ended up having our green flag pit stops in both the Tax Layer Truck Series and Pizza Deck Series race, which really surprised me. Pretty much play a factor into the outcome of who was going to win that race. A lot of those pit stops ended up taking place between 4 to 2 laps to go. Even some of the pit stops taking place on the white flag lap. Here tonight, the fuel window is around the same, around 30 to 32 laps, but if we go green flag this entire race, after that 30 to 32 lap pit stop, these drivers are going to have anywhere from 15 to 20 laps to be able to still battle on track and see what they've got with the adjustments they made on pit road. So this could be a very interesting race where we'll see if the pit stop comes into play into the outcome of the race. But without further ado, lined up on the pole position for tonight's O'Reilly Auto Parts 500 is going to be Garrett Sydnor. Of course, Garrett Sydnor, a former chaser last season when he won at Bristol Dirt. He's looking for his 2nd career win in the Hersheys Cup Series, and he comes into this race currently situated 18th in the point stand, so he's slowly creeping his way up towards the top 10. Alongside of him, how about J Fitzwater, 7th in the point stands. Now, we saw last season where he was a very consistent driver, but he couldn't find victory lane, and that locked him out of the chase for the championship. He eventually found it during the chase, but it was too late for him to battle for the championship. Maybe here tonight we can see him pick up his first win of the season and put the Fitzwater Australia Racing entry in the hunt for the chase for the championship. You got J McCloud, Dylan Young right there. There's a couple of drivers desperate for a win. Let's get the command.
Drivers, start your engines.
And I talk about desperate for a win. I mean, J McCloud comes into this race currently 38th out of the 39 drivers in the point stands. Dylan Young, on the other hand, had a pretty good run last week at Infineon. He ended up winning a stage. That was his first stage win of the season, and he jumped up to 23rd in points. He gained 10 points in the point standings, jumped from 33rd to 23rd. So it just shows you, though, that he was 33rd heading into Infineon. Hasn't had the best start to his year. Time to give you your top 10 in points coming into tonight's race, presented by Golden Corral. Brandon Gonzalez is the new points leader. He's a driver that's still looking for his first victory of the season, and this was the track where he picked up his first and only Hersheys Cup Series victory all the way back in Season 2. So Brandon hoping lightning strikes twice, as he's going to be coming into this race 15 points over K Tellier. J Arndt is now 3rd in points, 38 points back. 44 points back in 4th is our winner last week in Infineon, J Richardson. And Levi McIntyre is 5th in the points, 46 points back from the top position. The rest of your top 10 in points are Blaine Keys, Zachary Fitzwater, Leon Alvarise, J Bryant, and our winner from Rio, S Gallighan. I remember very well that race Brandon Gonzalez won. It was actually a battle between himself and Austin LaPlante off pit road. And I remember going back looking at replays thinking that LaPlante had actually beaten Brandon Gonzalez off pit road, but Gonzalez was scored the leader and resulted as the winner. As here we go, getting ready to go racing here in Texas. Let's roll! Wide already, that's for the 3rd position. Keith Batson to the bottom, McCloud in the middle, Dylan Young up the top side, Kyle Mathews there. There's Tim Walsh in the 15. He had a great run last week at Infineon, finished in the, I think it was the 3rd position. And Batson wants to lead the first lap of the evening. Lincoln followed by a flurry of Chevrolets, but it will be the Lincoln who will lead the first lap. And now Kyle Mathews, former champion in the series, will go to the inside for the top position. Mathews coming to this race 28th in the point standings. Not been a smooth start to the season for the Kings Island Chevrolet team, but he wants to remedy that here tonight. Gilbert, Dylan Young side by side. Well, they were side by side. Now they'll go side by side. Both stage winners last week at Infineon. Gilbert won stage 1, Dylan Young won stage 2. Trying to come off that momentum. Batson is now slotted back and forth. Tim Walsh there in 5th, and you got Nathan Hudson, Emmanuel Hartnett there in 6th, or in 6th and 7th. And then our race winner last week, J Richardson, right there in the top 10 as well. Kyle Mathews out in front. I also failed to mention what the stages were this evening. The stages are 15, 15, and 21, which is kind of interesting because that second stage, the checkered flag, is at lap 30, and that's just before the projected fuel window begins to open. So around the beginning of stage 3 is when we can expect to see those green flag pit stops, and that's if, big if, bold, italicized word if, we end up not having a yellow flag at any point of this race. Our Tax Slayer Truck Series race ran green the entire scheduled distance, so did our Pizza Hut X Series race. So the frame of mind is we can expect long green flag run in this one, but sometimes here it doesn't always pan out that way, as J Bryant works his way by Tim Walsh. That is for the 4th position. We mentioned Bryant coming into this race 9th in the point stand. It's been a kind of a struggling couple of races for JT, as a few weeks ago he came into a race as the points leader, but then had problems at Atlanta, had problems last week at Infineon, and has found himself now in a bit of a free fall, trying to bounce back now. Not too far back is his Young Motorsports teammate, Dylan Young in the 2. Let's actually, while this is going on too, let's take a look. We mentioned Brandon Gonzalez is a former winner at the track. Let's find out who the other former winners are and see if they're in this field. I have a feeling a couple of them are. I apologize if it takes a little bit of time because for some reason my internet's deciding to be stupid on my other laptop, so it's going to take me a little bit of time to load up each webpage to find out who won at which particular track. So for Texas, back in season 1, it was Stephen Pollard III who went to victory lane. And boy, JT Bryant is a man on a mission. He's going now for 2nd on Daniel Gilbert. He's going to be battling with Kyle Mathews in the next couple of laps, keeps this up. As mentioned, Brandon Gonzalez took the checkered flag back in season 2. That is his only Hersheys Cup Series win to date, and has him on over a 100 race winless streak currently. Back in season 3, it was Dallas McIntosh. He is in this field in the 14, so we'll see if McIntosh, who actually used fuel strategy last week to get a top 10 finish at Sonoma, we'll see if he works his way up towards the top 10 at any point in this race. We saw rolling off from, I think it was 3rd place on the starting grid, J McCloud. He ended up winning the race back last season. He comes in as the defending winner of this event, so those are your former winners from this season, from this track. And 3 of them are in this field. Gonzalez in the 23, McIntosh in the 14, and McCloud in the 51. Kyle Mathews up here up in the front. His teammate not too far back. There he is, Charles Sandfer in the 03. Chris Dodd in the 88 as well. Cody Smart in the 12. And the pole sitter Garrett Sydnor. And there's one of our former winners, Dallas McIntosh. He's trying to close up there towards the top 10. Running right there, and last time by was in the 13th position. So McIntosh, that was, if I remember correctly, he at the time was driving the number 16 Ford for then Roush Fenway Racing. And that was one of 2 wins that he had on the season back in season 3. Now going to drive to the inside of Tim Walsh as he continues to try and fight his way up towards the top 10. Chris Dodd started off the season great. He won the Daytona 500. Then the finishes started being rather meager in Rio and Las Vegas. Then he started to bounce back again. Had a good run at Bristol Dirt, had a pretty good run as well at Atlanta. And then last week got caught up in a wreck early in stage 3 at Infineon, finished out of the race. And and that dropped him in the point standings coming into tonight's race, dropped him all the way down to the 25th position. He dropped 18 spots in the standings. So, you know, this team has kind of been up and down ever since winning the Daytona 500, and the main goal for this 88 team is just try and be as consistent as possible, keep themselves away from that 30th position in the point standings. Comes into tonight's race 25th in the points, and so right now this is a well-needed run for him, and looks like he's en route to possibly getting some stage points as well. Battle has been going on for second for quite a bit here. At first was Daniel Guilbert and JT Bryant, and now Daniel Gilbert's Young Motorsports woes are not over, because it's Dylan Young that's now in his back bumper for that second spot. It's all going on behind Kyle Mathews, who is trying to pick up his first stage win of the season. Gilbert had a stage win last week at Infineon. Would have loved to pick up another one here the following week, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to do that, is because they're going to come to the green and white checkered flags this time by. And so Kyle Mathews will pick up his first stage win of the season. Now if he wins, that's a playoff point he can put towards the chase for the championship. Daniel Guilbert, Dylan Young, Chris Dodd, JT Bryant, Garrett Sydnor, Cody Smart, Charles Sandfer, James Richardson, and Dallas McIntosh will all get stage points for the completion of this first stage. We are now into stage 2. One driver we have not seen, we've talked about, we have not seen up here at the front yet, is the guy who comes in as the points leader, Randy Gonzalez. Let's try and find the 23, see where he is currently situated. There he is, back here with kind of a second group of drivers. Matt Haas and Anthony McCrury, Quentin Moore, John Arndt, L Alvarise, McIntyre, McCloud. Last time by, Randy Gonzalez was scored in the 27th position. And I'm looking back here, not only at Gonzalez, but there's a lot of drivers back here that came in running well in the points that are at this juncture, running in this mid-pack area. John Arndt 3rd in points, McIntyre 5th in the standings, Alvarise 8th in the points. I don't know if this might be some strategy, not using up their stuff, maybe be able to stay out a couple of extra laps when and if those green flag pit stops take place, as we're 3 wide up here. Dylan Poteet puts Dallas McIntosh in the middle. Emmanuel Hartnett left a rim ride top side, and he tries to come back down, but Benjamin Miles fills the gap. It's Dylan Poteet trying to fight his way up here. How about K Shearer, the 34? K Shearer took Rookie of the Race honors for the last 2 races at Atlanta and last week at Infineon. That has now tied the rookie point standings between himself and Caleb Farrell at 50 apiece, with Quentin Moore 1 point back with 49. Now K Shearer also jumped up 12 spots overall in the point standings last week at Infineon to 16th in the standings, and having another solid outing here tonight in Texas, as he's now in the top 10. He's got Sean Gallighan and Brooke Allen right behind him, hounding him for that position, but very good run so far here in the first half of this race for the 34 out of CJ Racing. And the battle for the lead may be on. Kyle Mathews, Chris Dodd, a couple of former champions of this series. Dodd winning back in Season 2, Mathews winning back in Season 3. This could be the battle for the lead that we will see shape up for the first time here tonight. Would Chris Dodd make a move on Kyle Mathews this early? I think maybe Chris Dodd would wait until we get closer to lap 30, because of course that would be 10 valuable bonus points and a stage win for Chris Dodd. Coming into this race, the 88 only has 1 stage bonus point, obviously for winning the Daytona 500. We'd obviously love to get a second one. At this point, coming into tonight's race, only 2 drivers have multiple stage points or playoff points. K Tellier has 3, and Cole Baker has 2. Everybody else only has 1. Keith Batson, Chris Dodd, Blaine Keys, Benjamin Miles, Sean Gallighan, Alex Drayton, Dylan Poteet, Daniel Guilbert, Dylan Young, and James Richardson, all with playoff points. Speaking of Alex Drayton, he's about to be the first car put a lap down, the rookie in the 77. He had a good run at Las Vegas, but this mile and a half not panning out the way he was hoping. And look at this, Chris Dodd, ever the veteran, going to make a wily move to the inside of Kyle Mathews using the 77 of Drayton as a pick. Will it work for him to take the race lead here? They're going to drag race to the line. Who leads the lap? It will be the 88 of Chris Dodd, and that's going to box Kyle Mathews in, as now JT Bryant will get to the inside, bringing teammate Cody Smart along with him. So Alex Drayton, the thorn in the proverbial side of Kyle Mathews, who was out in front dominated, and now he's going to drift back maybe all the way to about the 8th position before he can finally put that 77 in his rearview mirror. So now Chris Dodd to the top position. Second place is under contest. Cody Smart to the inside of his Young Motorsports teammate JT Bryant. Garrett Sydnor, the pole sitter, right there in third. And how about all three of the Young Motorsports cars? All right there in your shot. Second, now fourth and fifth. Great run, and the odds really in favor right now for a Ford to maybe go to victory lane. Last week, James Richardson became the first non-Chevy driver to go to victory lane this season. All other races up to that point had been won by a driver in a Chevrolet SS. So Kyle Mathews will now be able to get around Alex Drayton, but like I said, he's drifted all the way back to 8th place before he's finally able to do so. Top 8 actually have about 4, maybe actually 5 seconds between themselves and the 9th place driver, which is, at the time, Sean Gallighan over James Richardson. So these green flag pit stops could definitely shuffle things up with the fact the field is so broken up. Gallighan, Richardson, McIntosh, Shearer, Poteet, Allen Keys all battling here from 9th on back. And this battling is going on right now, 4.7 seconds behind JT Bryant. Young going to move by Garrett Sydnor. Big opportunity here for Young Motorsports to get one of their 3 drivers in victory lane. Cody Smart looking for his first career Hersheys Cup Series victory. He was a 3-time winner in the Hersheys Cup Series non-charter series last year. Dylan Young looking for his first win since Homestead Miami back in Season 3. And JT Bryant looking for his first win since last year at Dover. And I think I said it was either last week or back in Atlanta, I said that JT Bryant won a race at Dover last season and did not make the chase for the championship. I would like to correct myself on that. That was not the case. He did indeed actually make the chase for the championship. So I would like to correct that mistake that I made on my commentary. It was either last week or the week before. So I do apologize for that. JT Bryant did indeed make the chase for the championship. Right now, Chris Dodd enjoying the view. And I think what he'll enjoy even more is the fact he's got about a 4 or 5 car length advantage over Cody Smart in second, and the next time by is the end of our second stage. And so, like I said, Chris Dodd really needing stage points. Well, looks like he will get himself another playoff point towards the chase for the championship. So big time needed playoff point will be coming the way of the IKEA Chevrolet as he's about to encounter J Gardner and K Tellier. Wait a minute, this isn't over. Cody Smart, big run through 3 and 4, and K Tellier is coming to pit road. This is where the pit stops start. Oh, trouble! Cody Smart just got spun! Smart just got spun by Garrett Sydnor. Caution is out. Yellow flag is out. And this changes everything. Those drivers that were on pit road are going to want to get their pit stops done quick. And there's a lot of drivers coming to pit road. They're going to want to get these pit stops done fast and get out ahead of that pace car. K Tellier, Cole Baker, Alex Drayton, Quentin Moore, J Arndt, Emmanuel Hartnett with a little contact there with Caleb Farrell. And that just shot him out of his pit box. T Walch and Zachary Fitzwater all on pit lane. They're all leaving pit road, and I think they're going to get out ahead of the pace car. So that may have been a very timely caution for them for when they came to pit road. And now, Chris Dodd and the rest of the race leaders will be coming to pit road this time. I think those other drivers that just came in pit road, I think they're going to cycle around at the top positions, potentially, depending on if they get back around before these race leaders get to the start-finish line or get to the exit of pit road. But Cody Smart in the second position just got turned by Garrett Sydnor as we were beginning the cycle of green flag pit stops. Nathan Hudson's got a lot of damage on the hood of his 29. I'm not exactly sure where that came from. Trent Dunham also has damage. And here comes Cole Baker around, along with K Tellier. Are they going to be able to beat Chris Dodd? I think Cole Baker might cycle around as the leader. I think he very well could. We'll have to wait and see. As we're under caution, Chris Dodd now leaving pit road, and we're going to have to see what the cycle is indeed for the running order when we go back green. But for now, let's take a look at a replay of what brought out our first caution of the evening. So K Tellier is coming to pit road, and I think Cody Smart had to kind of lift. I don't think he expected that, and he tries coming up to give her room, and as his car is beginning its grade up towards the high side, G Sydnor had a big run coming out of turn 4. He never lifted, and the 12 just comes right up in front of him. And he almost had it saved, but goes completely around, so NNSCRA officials having to throw the yellow flag, and there you see Cody Smart is going to be able to get the car refired down there on the inside line, and watch some of these near misses as drivers still come full speed to the caution. K Shearer R, Poteet, look at that close call between Cody Smart and Brooke Allen. And I'm not really certain what happened to Trent Dunham and Nathan Hudson. They had a lot of front-end damage on both of their Chevrolets, and I'm being told that they both have actually brought their cars behind the wall now. Oh! Bit of a stack up there with Keith Batson and L Alvarise. And watch in the back. Haas into the back of Gonzalez, Dunham into the back of Haas, and Hudson into the back of Dunham. So that's what happened. They all stacked up afterwards. Wow, Gonzalez a lot of damage. Levi McIntyre got involved as he gets spun around. Jessica Shelton might have also gotten a piece of that incident too. So that's what happened. They all just stacked up there when Cody Smart kind of came back up in front of Keith Batson. Haas has got damage now. I think McCloud and Baskinger may have gotten through unscathed. Don't know about McCrury in the 61. But that's going to take Hudson and Dunham out of the race. Points leader Brandon Gonzalez a lot of damage. 5th in points, Levi McIntyre a lot of damage. And also I should document as well that Joshua Michaels is out of the race due to a piston problem. So mechanical issues plaguing that Honda Accord. So now the garage area beginning to pile up with race cars. And I'm being told that Chris Dodd is going to cycle around as the race leader. So let's go and take a look at that. Get ready for our first restart of this entire race weekend. And actually, it is not Chris Dodd who is going to be the race leader. Now, I was correct. Some drivers, when they hit pit road, they were able to get out ahead of the pace car, and they cycle around as the race leader, and that is Zachary Fitzwater, as a matter of fact, for this restart. Caleb Farrell, Tim Walsh, and John Arndt, along with Quentin Moore, were able to also utilize that. They will restart in the top 5 with Chris Dodd starting back in 6th. These drivers, J Gardner, Cole Baker, K Tellier, and A Drayton, were unable to get off pit road ahead of the pace car. They did get out ahead of the race leader, so they will restart on the tail end of the lead lap. Emmanuel Hartnett will line up on the inside line, 1 lap down. Hudson, Dunham, and Michaels out of the race as stated. And so it will be Fitzwater who will be the race leader when we take the green flag once again. Mentioned that Zachary Fitzwater had a win last year, but it came during the chase for the championship at Hosted Miami Speedway. Can he get a win this season before the chase begins and make what would be only his 2nd chase in his career? Green flag back out here with about 17 laps to go, and Caleb Farrell wasting no time. Here he comes to the bottom. In front of him is the only rookie to have won this season, A Drayton. Farrell would love to become the 2nd. Got Tim Walsh right behind him, though, and it looks like these drivers on the tail end of the lead lap are up to speed, and so they're going to be kind of a wall in front of these race leaders. Drayton and Gardner and Baker all unfortunately getting trapped on the tail end of the lead lap, and now Baker's gone a lap down. Drayton about to suffer the same fate, and now he's on the outside line, and Gardner about to also go a lap down, as right now Emmanuel Hartnett would be on the tail end of the lead lap. Seems a lap down coming to the green on the inside line, but now the inside line is going to be filled with the lead lap cars, so now Hartnett falls a lap down. So all 4 of the cars that were at the time on the tail end of the lead lap are now a lap down. It looks like the top 4, maybe the top 5 have all cleared the lap traffic as Tim Walsh to the bottom of the racetrack for the race lead. Walsh's team teammate Chris Dodd already with a win this season, trying to become the second CJ Racing entry to go to victory lane. Right behind him, J Arndt. J Arndt had a really good run last week at Infineon. Of course, it jumped him up in the point standings. Coming into this race third in points. J Arndt last year had a career year. Got his first career win, made his first career chase for the championship. Would love to follow that up here. Look who we got now popping up here into the top 5. We got Dylan Poteet, Charles Sandfer. There's Dylan Young, J Bryant. We documented how good the Young Motorsports cars were looking. They're all up here with a shot still. Well, Cody Smart isn't up here because obviously he's got that damage from that only caution that we had, but the other two are still up here, Young and Bryant. It's T Walch hoping these laps tick away quicker than they are because there's still quite a ways to go in this race. We've still got 13 laps, so anything can still happen here. These drivers, for the most part, though, I think are pretty well set on fuel, as now Chris Dodd has slipped up into the 4th spot. So that 88 car is all of a sudden picking up speed, and now he's picking up spots. He'll now move by Dylan Young for 3rd place. Chris Dodd was out in front when that caution came out. He kind of drifted back after the cycle of pit stops and everything, and now he's trying to fight his way back up to the top position. Now he's going to hound his teammate for the race lead. Sounds like we got a car that we may encounter up ahead. No, that's K Batson and G Sydnor, and they're almost a half racetrack ahead. I thought I heard an idling engine, but I didn't, as the battle for the lead is on, and it is over just as quickly as it started. Chris Dodd back to the top position. Zachary Fitzwater, who restarted as the leader, got boxed in by the lap traffic. Now he's up to 2nd place. And about to brew for 3rd, Dylan Poteet and T Walch. And look who's now up into the 5th position. Brooke Allen in the 3. Having a very good run, and there's Benjamin Miles. He's now up into 6th, and J Baskinger. You can even see a little bit of damage on the Bass Pro Shops number 5. He was way, way back, almost in danger if this thing had gone green to the end or maybe going a lap down. Now he's up inside the top 10. Along with rookies K Shearer and Quentin Moore, and K Mathews now starting to get his way back up towards the top 10. I think this is maybe a battle for 10th right here between himself and Quentin Moore. D Guilbert and Dylan Young there as well in this mix, and then don't count out these guys. They keep racing. You got McCrury, Sandfer, Bryant, who are all 3 wide coming off turn 4. Cody Llamas there, along with S Gallighan, K Farrell, K Tellier, Lane Keys. I mean, this is not over. We are in the closing stages of this race, but there's still a lot of time for drivers to make their way up towards the front. And the top 3 are single file, Dodd, Walch, and Poteet. Dodd looking for his 2nd win, Walch and Poteet looking for their 1st of the season. And then you got the lap car of Cole Baker, who is up to speed, separating 4th place from 3rd place. And 4th place has just changed hands. J Baskinger working by Zachary Fitzwater for that position. Talked about how Chris Dodd has been a fluctuating season. He won the Daytona 500, then had terrible runs the following weeks at Rio and Las Vegas. Then bounced back, it seemed, at Atlanta. Then we went to Infineon. He got involved in a wreck and finds himself currently situated 25th in the point standings. The gap between himself and 30th in points, that cutoff line, is a mere 10 points. A 2nd win here could all but confirm him a spot in the chase for the championship. But keep in mind, what was the last time we saw Chris Dodd go to victory lane 2 times in a season? I'll refresh your memory. It was back in season 2 when he won the championship. T Walch, though, I mean, this is a very interesting situation for him. It's been a long time since he's been to victory lane. It was back at, I want to say, Atlanta season 3, if I remember correctly. It might have been Atlanta season 2. But T Walch, I mean, if he passes for this win, he's passing a teammate. Poteet right behind him. Poteet's had a very stellar last couple of weeks. Finds himself currently situated in the 14th position in the standings. And now we're getting to the point where time is running out. Before, we had about 13 laps to go when I said it last time, so that was plenty of time for drivers to work their way to the front. But now, as we've settled into this long green flag run, drivers who've got those positions picked up early when everyone was bunched up. Now the field beginning to spread out, and now it comes down to who's got the best race car, who's got the most horsepower underneath the hood, and who's got the car that's able to have the best mobility to run wherever they want to on the racetrack. Chris Dodd by about maybe a car length and a half over his teammate Tim Walsh. The good news for Walsh is Poteet has not been able to put a move on him for second place. And now we may end up having the traffic come into play. Garrett Sydnor and Keith Batson just ahead of the race leaders, and they will be caught before we get the checkered flag. So this could get very interesting in the closing stages. They're going to the bottom, and that's going to block Chris Dodd. Tim Walsh right there. Up ahead is also Cody Smart in the 12. So 3 cars in front of Chris Dodd as here comes Poteet for second off of Tim Walsh. Chris Dodd trying to maneuver through the traffic. He goes low on Keith Batson. Now looks to go high on Garrett Sydnor. And Poteet's coming to pit road. Dylan Poteet's on pit road. So is Garrett Sydnor. Miles, Brooke Allen, are we going to have pit stops again here? Do we have to have a second trip to pit road for these drivers? I thought they were good to go. I thought they were fine on fuel now, but apparently that's not the case. With 1.5 laps to go, Poteet and a number of others who were running inside the top 10 just hit pit lane, unable to make it on fuel. Chris Dodd's going to risk it. Tim Walsh is going to risk it. So is Fitzwater. The white flag displayed, one more lap around. Not surprising for Chris Dodd. He's already got a win in the bank. What has he got to lose? He can gain a second win here and clinch himself a spot in the chase for the championship pretty much. Tim Walsh, Fitzwater, they're rolling the dice, risking it. Will someone be running out of fuel coming through 3 and 4? The 88 appears to be slowing down a bit. Is he coming to pit road? No, he's not, as it's side by side for second. Chris Dodd will pick up his second win of the season. He wins the O'Reilly Auto Parts 500 here tonight at Texas. Second win of the season for Chris Dodd. Comes in only the 7th race of the year. And again, cast your memory back. The last time that Chris Dodd had 2 wins in a single season, he won the championship back in season 2. But I am shocked in the fact that we ended up having the pit strategy here in the closing stages. That caution we had must have come out right at the perfect moment for it to be a potential 2-stop race. And I thought these drivers, we restarted with what, about, what did I say it was, 19 laps to go, something like that. So I thought for certain that these drivers are going to be good to go on fuel, but maybe some of these drivers decided not to take as much fuel as they could to gain track position when we had that yellow flag come out. I don't know what the case was, but whatever the case is, I don't know for certain Chris Dodd is the winner. Let's take a look here at the full finish results. Chris Dodd with the win. And so, like I said, this all but confirms him a spot in the chase for the championship. He's just got to keep that ride now in the top 30 in the point standings. And he will jump from 25th in the points up in the stands again with this win. No doubt about that. Zachary Fitzwater, the consistency continues for him, but again denied a trip to victory lane as he will finish second. This will probably jump him into the top 5 in the point standings. How about Tim Walsh? I mean, he was so close to maybe picking up that win, but I'll tell you what, I think this was definitely a needed run for him in 3rd place, though, because coming into this race, 36th in the point standings, he needed a good points day, and he got it with a podium finish. J Arndt continues his consistent runs as well. He could very well be the points leader heading into next week with the stage points he gained here tonight. Brandon Gonzalez, we never really saw him at the front. K Tellier the same, so we'll have to see how close J Arndt might be to being the points leader heading into next week. He was 3rd in the points, 38 points out coming into this race. And J Baskinger, what a great run for him. Baskinger coming into this race, another driver that really could have used a good run in 27th in the points, and he's going to finish with a top 5. K Shearer, for the 3rd straight week, will be Rookie of the Race. He was Rookie of the Race at Atlanta. He was Rookie of the Race at Infineon. And he's Rookie of the Race here tonight. That 34 car, really, really good. And what a statement there for the CJ Racing team. 1st, 3rd, and 6th for 3 of their 4 entries. Then you've got Cody Llamas there in 7th. There's another driver that really needed a good run. Cody coming into this race mired all the way down, dead last in points. Nice to see that 48 car get a good run. Dylan Young, after he had that run at Infineon last week, had a good performance. Gets a good run here today. That will probably jump him into the top 20 in points. Quentin Moore and Caleb Farrell, a couple of rookies, will complete your top 10 in 9th and 10th. And then you see here, going down through your top 15, only 15 cars finish this race on the lead lap, with drivers having to come to pit road in those closing stages. Levi McIntyre gets 11th, Matt Haas gets 12th. How about J McCloud? We never really talked about him tonight. He's going to get 13th. Last week's winner, J Richardson, will bring it home 14th. And Jessica Shelton was the last car to finish on the lead lap in the 15th position. You can see on down through the remainder of the finish results. Emmanuel Hartnett and Cole Baker, that definitely worked out for them. Both of them were basically trapped a lap down. Baker was on the tail end of the lead lap when we restarted, and Emmanuel Hartnett was a lap down. They were able to cycle to 16th and 17th, even though they still finished off the lead lap. So, you know, talk about being able to make something good out of a terrible situation. Cody Smart, who pretty much was the start of our only caution tonight, he's going to have his damaged race car finish 18th, with the teammates K Batson and K Tellier in 19th and 20th. Look on down through the remainder of the finishing results, and a couple of notables there. You got D Poteet. He was running around the second, third position when he had to come to pit road. Brooke Allen and Benjamin Miles also were running the top 10. And they all had to come to pit road in the closing stages, finishing 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Same for McCrury, Gilbert, Gallighan, Sandfer, Mathews. They were all battling up inside the top 10, top 15. As you look on down through the remainder of the finishing results, Brandon Gonzalez there in the 33rd position came in as the points leader. I don't think he'll be leaving as the points leader. I don't know yet, though. I can't in my head formulate if it's going to be K Tellier or J Arndt that'll be the points leader heading to next week. And, of course, we had our retirees out of the race, Nathan Hudson and Trent Dunham, after they got involved in a stack-up with our only caution of the evening, and mechanical failure plaguing Joshua Michaels, ending his night early at Texas. But that's going to do it here this evening for our race from Texas Motor Speedway. Chris Dodd becomes the first repeat winner this season in any series, whether it be Texas Layer, Pizza Hut X Series, or Hersheys Cup Series. So congrats to him, and that pretty much has locked him up a spot in the chase for the championship for the first time since Season 2. Next week, it's going to again be a off week for the Texas Layer Truck Series and the Pizza Hut X Series, as we're going to have two events coming your way with the Eldora race weekend. First, we're going to have the Dirt Car one-off race, where one lucky driver, one winner, will be the 40th entrant into the Mudsummer Classic, which will be an entire Hersheys Cup Series extravaganza, where we will find out who's going to be able to tame that dirt track. We're going to have heat races. We're going to have LCQ races. We're going to have the main event. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you'll tune into that weekend. Can't wait for that, as we are going to be continuing on our season. And then following week, all three series come back for the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway, as we go Superspeedway racing for only the second time this season since the season opening weekend at Daytona. But that's going to do it here this evening. Hope you guys enjoyed tonight's race. If you did, be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown you your full finish results here. These are your rookie points and your overall points heading into next week's Mud Summer Classic extravaganza. Until then, I'm Seth Cole. You've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.